Hello, everyone, and welcome to FanDummies. I'm Greg.
And I'm Erin.
Today, we are going to take a look at the Netflix original series, Warrior Nun. We are going to dive into what it's about, who is in it, how it relates to the comics, what we thought, and we'll try to decode that crazy ending. For our patrons, we talk about how Ben Dunn got the idea for Warrior Nun and the weapons and artifacts used in the show.
It's pretty neat.
There's a lightsaber.
You mean the lightsaber?
You knew where I was going with that.
Yeah.
If you are new to FanDummies, we talk about superheroes, science fiction, and fantasy TV and movies every week. Hit that subscribe button to join the FanDummy family. Did you hit the subscribe button there?
Of course.
Nice.
And they watch us on YouTube.
Well, that's where they're going to subscribe probably. Or in their favorite podcast app. Anywhere is good. Maybe we should start off talking about what this actually is.
Yeah, just a reminder, we're going to have minor spoilers to start with until we get to the end. And then it's going to be a pretty big spoiler. So
we're going to
just be cautious.
Yeah, we're going to actually talk about the ending. So, there can't be much more spoilery than that.
If you haven't watched it already, then you're missing out.
So what's the actual premise of the show?
After waking up in a morgue, an orphan teen discovers she now possesses superpowers as a chosen halo bearer for a secret sect of demon-hunting nuns. I mean, does that sound epic or what?
I mean, it's like a crazy sentence.
If you haven't seen this, hit pause. You have to go watch this.
I mean, the chosen halo bearer for a secret sect of demon-hunting nuns? Wow.
The show is inspired by a manga comic and it is created by Ben Dunn. It's a 10-episode series that you can find on Netflix.
Ben Dunn created Warrior Nun. It rhymes. It rhymes.
Somewhat.
Kinda.
And the showrunner for Warrior Nun is Simon Barry.
Simon Barry is a showrunner. No, that doesn't work as good.
And you remember when we watched Continuum and we were like huge fans of that? It was on the Sci-Fi channel.
I loved Continuum so much.
Uh-huh.
It was great the first season. Kind of went downhill, but Sci-Fi cancels everything too soon. Simon Barry should kick rocks at the Sci-Fi channel.
Yeah. And he's also created Van Helsing. We haven't watched that.
No, but I was looking at it and it started off pretty poor.
Did it?
Yeah, we watched, I think, maybe an episode or two.
Did we?
Yeah. And
I know we've seen the movies, or I think there's movies.
We were like, this is bad. But I think it did get better because there's a group of fanatics that follow it. So it must be.
Like it has a cult following.
Yeah, it must be something there.
Well, maybe we need to give it a try.
Warrior Nun does have some key differences. And one of them is that most of these actresses are not very well known.
Mm-hmm.
At least not to US or English speaking audiences. Alba Baptista, who plays Ava, she's 23 years old in real life. She's been acting for a long time, but if you look, they're almost all Portuguese films. Mm. So you go through the list and you think, oh, this looks good. Oh, it's in Portuguese. So you'd have to watch it subtitled. So what you might do if you really like Alba is go back, turn on subtitles and watch some of her older stuff.
There's also Toya Turner and she plays Shotgun Mary. And she's called Shotgun Mary because she has 2 shotguns.
Yeah.
It's kind of obvious. But she's mostly a character actor. She's been in a lot of stuff. So hopefully, this is going to get her more screen time because I think she did really well as her character.
Yeah, as a supporting actress, Toya did amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, character actor to the point where her credits for Incredible 2 just says other voices.
Oh, so she does like voice acting too?
Yeah.
Cool. Gives her some pluses in my book.
There's also Christine Tanteri Young, who plays Sister Beatrice. Lorena Andre, who plays Sister Lilith. She has a pretty big role. We're not going to spoil too much, but she was supposed to be the Halo bearer, and we'll get to why she's not.
Don't worry, though. It's still awesome.
Yeah, still awesome. Tristan Uola, who plays Father Vincent, who is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he owns that role.
Mm-hmm. He's great.
Thekla Roten, who plays Julian Salvius. In the comics, we're going to talk more about this, but in the comics, this was a male character named Julian Salvius, but she's like a tech titan. She's like a Elon Musk of religious technology artifacts, all sorts of fun stuff there. Olivia Delkin, who plays Sister Camilla, and Melina Matthews, who plays Sister Shannon Matthews. The basic premise of this show is the story of the angel Adriel, who came to Earth to bestow his halo on Ariala, giving her his power and making her the first warrior nun. We're going to talk a lot about the ending later in the episode, so just get ready for that.
You mean the giant cliffhanger? Doesn't really end.
The giant cliffhanger. But there was a lot of revelations, pun, in the final episode. And we'll dig into that. Each episode is also named after the passage in the Bible. So now you get that last pun joke. Revelations, haha. For example, episode 1 is called Psalms 46:5. And the actual verse in the Bible is, God is within her, she will not fail. Episode 1 is when Ava gets the halo. So.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, I watched this, I love it, I'm now listening to your podcast. Is there going to be a season 2? Well, what's on Netflix.com reported that an inside source confirmed to them that yes, there's going to be a season 2. Now, this person probably just got fired from Netflix.
It was someone like, yeah, I watched that and it was really good.
Yeah, it's like,
I would make another one. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably someone with absolute no authority.
Yeah. I guess what to wait.
Yeah.
If they doesn't get another season, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, me too. Well, we said this was based on a comic book or a manga.
Mm-hmm.
What comic is it based on?
Well, it's loosely adapted from the Warrior Nun Ariella.
Uh-huh.
And it's from Volume 1, Number 1, that came out December 1994. And it was published by Antarctic Press.
Okay.
And that's the publishing company that Ben Dunn owns.
Nice. So loosely based, that means this doesn't really follow the comic.
Yeah. Not much at all. I mean, the comic is very different. I mean, there's a warrior nun and some demons and stuff, and I think that's about it.
Yeah, there's some common characters that it shares.
Yeah.
But when did this first come out? What was Warrior Nun Ariella's first appearance?
She first appeared in Ninja High School number 37 back in 1987.
Oh, wow.
So she's been around for a while. And supposedly those Ninja High School comics are pretty popular as well.
Isn't it crazy how when you're at the comic book store when you're a kid, you skip over all these publishers that are like weird?
Kind of feel bad about it.
I know. And turns out they've got some good stories and good books. Like I would pass right over this. I would go right for the Marvel or DC or Image, depending on when it was. And just, I would skip Warrior Nun.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even go close to it.
Yeah. Well, and back then, I mean, would you have grabbed something that was manga style as well?
Probably not. And it was also...
Would you even know what it is? Or would you just be like, oh, that looks really cartoony?
Yeah, I was into superheroes. Maybe other people were into this.
I mean,
maybe
this is pretty much a superhero.
Maybe adults bought this.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of...
It's totally more targeted for adults.
Yeah.
I don't think it's for kids. And I looked all over to find a digital version of this comic, and I just couldn't find one, like not on Comixology, not on any site. I don't know. I looked all over. If anybody knows where I can read it digitally, let me know. But the graphic novel and the comics are kind of expensive, at least what I saw. Like Amazon was selling like the 228-page graphic novel for $165. I don't know if if there's just not that many of them out there, or since the show came out, someone, jacked up the price more.
Probably. It's just people gouging.
But I know you saw some on eBay the other day, and they were like $3 a comic. But you had to buy like a huge set of them. Usually if you sell a run of comics, you might not make as much money if you sell it, I think, by itself. That's for any kind of collectible, really. But
yeah, there's people selling like the number ones for $50 and things like that. So there is some sort of collector value to these comics.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it's worth us going back and buying them. I don't know. We'll see. If it gets greenlit for a season 2, maybe we will.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about a Kickstarter campaign that the Warrior Nun is having. I think it's currently running, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
talk about
that. You have to stay tuned. You're going to have to stay tuned for our Patreon segment to hear us talk about that. But apparently they're rebooting the comic, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
In the comics, the Warrior Nun named Arya is a cast-out Valkyrie from 1066.
Wow.
So it's
like Norse mythology.
If you're not familiar what a Valkyrie is, I had to look it up. I know that generally it's a Norse mythology, term, but it says online it's any group of maidens who served the god Odin and were sent by him to the battlefields to choose the slain who were worthy of a place in Valhalla, which I thought was kind of neat. And the comic is set in present day, where she is now named Ariella. And once per generation, she embodies herself into a worthy sister of the Order. It sounds kind of like Doctor Who when the Doctor regenerates, doesn't it? It's the same person, but they look different, I guess.
There's been a bunch of shows like Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Like Sam Beckett leaps into the next person.
Yeah.
Like I said, we didn't get a chance to read the comics, but the Halo and all of that stuff seems completely different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the comics, Warrior Nun sister Shannon Masters is the protagonist embodied by Ariella. The story really centers around her, and she is a little bit older as well. In the show, Sister Lilith was next in line and supposed to get the halo if Sister Shannon were to die. But there was a kerfuffle in the church, and when Sister Shannon died, they took the halo out and hid it in what they thought was a dead body. It was Ava's dead body.
Well, they weren't expecting...
Yeah, they were just trying to hide it.
Yeah.
Well, the halo brought Ava back to life, and this is where the show starts, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I was going to like this show when Alba Baptista, she was really goofy when she woke up and fell off the table, and I thought, oh, I'm going to like this show because it's kind of funny.
Uh-huh.
The Warrior Nun Ava is 19, just a teenager, and is skeptical of religion.
Mm-hmm.
She's had a pretty bad life. She was a paraplegic and, spoiler, close your ears, was murdered by her caretaker.
A nun.
Her
nun caretaker?
Nun. Nun.
In the comics, it takes place in New York, but in the show, it takes place in Spain, which is really neat.
Yeah, the location cinematography was really nice.
Since the comics came out in 1994, they revolve more around that time, and the show is now present day in 2020.
It makes sense. I mean, they really modernized this, and they did pretty well. Like, you don't really think about it like, oh, this should be set in 1994 or whatever. You know,
I think with the technology, it seems, modern day. So
Mhm.
that helps. And in the comics, there are a lot of scantily clad nuns. And in the show, they do a really great job, like dressing the nuns with, like their warrior battle clothing. And,
Mhm.
they
Yeah,
have really neat outfits. And
they wear tactical nun gear,
Mhm.
which is really funny.
Yeah.
But it's like, they're nuns in the day and they wear super cool battle suits at night.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the part that makes it loosely adapted.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look like the same like style or anything like that.
No, and they're drawn really like bodaciously in the comics.
Yeah.
And I think the story deserves a little more serious adaptation, which this was.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fun, actually.
And Warrior Nun has been appearing in comics on and off for the last 20 years.
Wow.
Which is crazy. Like when you think about it, that's a long run.
I know, but what comics? This Antarctic Press comics, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It has to be just like any other comic book press where there's crossovers and all sorts of stuff. The big bad Adriel isn't in the comics. The whole concept of him bringing the Halo to Earth was created for the show. It's a very, very loose adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting that Netflix decided on Adriel as the angel because in the Bible, Adriel is a nobleman in ancient Israel, not an angel.
Oh.
You would think Catholic scholars would be like, Adriel? I don't have any record of you in the book here that says that you're an angel. Like, do you have an ID of some kind?
Good point.
I think this is a clue.
Yeah.
To what the future seasons are going to be like, because there might actually be the angels. Like, you might get to see named angels come after Adriel. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
At first, I really thought they were saying Azrael, who we've seen in a lot of adaptations like Supernatural and things like that, who is an actual angel, the angel of death. That made total sense to me, that Azrael would come to Earth at the moment of Ariala's death, decide not to take her soul and instead give her his halo.
Mm-hmm.
That made total sense to me. So like, it had to be episode 2 or episode 3 where I was like, are they saying Adriel and not Azrael?
Yeah.
And it's true. They were saying Adriel. Hopefully that was an intentional choice that pays off later in the story and not some writer's room screw up and they meant Azrael. Before we move on to what we thought about the show, let's talk about the FanDummies Patreon. For $2.99 a month, you can support FanDummies, help us keep making these shows. As you can see, we're including video and all that stuff. But for that, you just don't get our thanks, which we thank you.
Thank you.
You get ad-free, early, and extended episodes. And in this episode, we're talking about how the concept of Warrior Nun came to be. We're talking about the lightsaber we saw.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Kickstarter that you can participate in, all only in our Patreon section. If you want to join our Patreon, click the link in the show notes or go to patreon.com/FanDummies. We also have a TeePublic store where you can buy shirts that you see us wear, all sorts of really cool ones.
Not mine. Mine's officially licensed Baby Yoda.
Yeah, no, more like coffee books style t-shirts. And if you want a FanDummies t-shirt, which you'll see me wear probably in every single episode because it's one of my favorite shirts and Aaron always makes fun of me for it, then you can check out our merch. It's like fandummies.com/merch or something like that. We'll put all those links in the show notes so you don't have to remember if you're driving. So what did we think about this show? Aaron, what'd you think?
I thought it was great. Like at first, Greg's like, let's watch Warrior Nun. They kept showing us the, little trailer on Netflix. And I'm like, Warrior Nun, what is that?
They were advertising to us hard. Like they've got us pegged.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, like what else are we going to watch? And I thought it was just going to be another, old boring fantasy show. And it turns out that, it's way more than that. And I got hooked. Like, I really enjoyed the story. I really liked how Ava died. And then she was brought back because they did put the halo in her back. I mean, I don't know if I've ever, seen that in a show or a movie. Have you? Like, that's new.
The whole use of the halo is just really interesting to me.
I thought that was really neat. So, since she grew up disabled her whole life, once she got the halo in her back, I mean, all she wanted to do was experience life, be a teenager. She went out to the beach and ran around and I don't know how she was in such good shape after laying in bed all these years, but you just can't question it too much.
The halo.
The halo.
It's a miracle.
It's like she went into the Steve Rogers pod and came out Captain America.
It's true. She's super fit.
But I don't know, it's just great. It gave her a new life, and because she had such a hard life before. She had to be waited on 100%, and now she can experience life again. And it's also awesome because there's a bunch of women that are fighters, and I did see that when we were researching the show that once the actors got hired and they were there on set, they started training them to use their weapons correctly and fighting skills and stuff like that. And I thought that was really neat because it didn't seem I don't know, they must have had stunt doubles, I don't know, but it seemed like they did a lot of their fight scenes. Did you think that? Or
I didn't see any stunt doubles or any cuts, so if they did use them, they used them really well. They found the exact shape of the actresses, and it was good.
Yeah, they hire actors to shoot these shows and movies, and they have no fighting skills. They have nothing, and then they hire stunt doubles. It's why don't they just find someone that's well-rounded in all of that, or hire the stunt double to be the actor?
I don't know if that works. Because remember Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Whenever Buffy would do jumps and flips, it would change to somebody the size of Brienne of Tarth. It was so obvious.
The CW shows, Stargirl. Oh, I hate it. I love the show, but whenever Stargirl fights, it's it switches out. Sometimes I swear it's a man. I don't even know if it's a woman.
No, it's bring in the stunt double with the
curly
wig
blonde
on.
Wig. It's bad.
It's really bad.
So I really liked how I couldn't tell, and I think that they, were trained better, and I thought that was really neat.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just the fact that she had such a rough life, and now she can live life and help, I guess, the warrior nuns defeat the demons. I think it's just a cool story.
For the first 18 years of her life, she had a rough time, and now she gets upgraded past fully functional to superpowered. I like the story. I think it's really great that they used this particular theme.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of activity on this show. I've seen a number of articles talking about how the demand was better than expected. It could be because there just isn't a lot of new stuff, but I thought this was really good. You can search the hashtag Warrior Nun on Twitter and see what I mean. But I loved this show, especially Alba Baptista. I could have swore that I've seen her before, and I was Googling this whole time. And I think that she just looks like a younger Ellen Page.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I kept thinking that too.
Yeah.
Until you said that. And I was like, totally.
I love the fact that she's a little goofy. I don't know if she's goofy in real life, but she plays like a little goofy in this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. I also think it's great how she's smaller than the rest of the nuns. Like, when you see her as the leader of these nuns, you're like, what? Because she's short. And all of the nuns in this order are like badass, tall, muscular fighters. Like, they've been fighting their whole life.
Well, they've been training forever, and they're in it, you know. And she just kind of gets popped in there.
Every one of these women look deadly.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't want to cross them. And she's like normal girl turned ninja.
Mm-hmm.
Or I should say nunja.
Nunja.
Oh, the puns today. The only thing I really didn't like is the whole boyfriend arc and the friend arc.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't really add much to the story. It was like an attempt to bring in some teenage angst, I think.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember what happened to the boyfriend. Like, he just disappears one episode. He gets mad. He sees one little demon.
She leaves him or something.
I think he leaves her. He sees one little demon and says, I can't handle this, and runs off.
Does he? I don't even remember. I think that they just have those teenagers in there so that they can show Ava wanting to live a normal life. Like, I think
know, but it was
that.
half the season. It was probably 5 episodes.
Yeah, because it's tempting her, you know, not to go join the order and, you know, help them out. You know, she wants to stay and just be a teenager.
Yeah, this show is so much like Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this was Buffy's first couple seasons too, where she doesn't want to kill vampires. She doesn't want the Buffy life. She just wants to like hang out with boys and do teenager stuff.
Well, Buffy even she's younger. It's like high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is like maybe a senior in high school, or, you know, right outside of high school.
I also thought the ending was kind of ignorant. I mean, we invested all of these, 10 hours into this show, and they don't close any of the stuff, which I thought was really, really mean. I'm not a fan of cliffhangers. I think you should button up shows because you just never know if you're going to get a season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have had some cliffhanger. Like, a study of perfection is Umbrella Academy. Like, the world ended.
Yeah.
But the story was over. They failed. Right? Sure. It still was cliffhangery enough that you wanted to see what happened, but the story itself wrapped.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they could have done something very similar to that here. So we have a whole segment for that next, where we're going to dive into that. But I loved it. But those two things just kind of irked me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I know we both watched it and we were like, what? Like, how does it just end this way?
Yeah. So you ready to talk about the ending instead of alluding to it? You want to just jump right into it?
Sure. So
the last episode is called Revelation 210. So now you get some payoff for that pun early on in the show. It's a revelation of a pun. Do not be afraid of what you are about to suffer. I tell you, the devil will put some of you in prison to test you. You will suffer persecution for 10 days. Be faithful even to the point of death, and I will give you life as your victor's crown. Wow. Does that mean a bunch of people are about to die?
Maybe.
The premise of the final episode is that Ava has been training herself to walk through stone because she's trying to get into Adriel's tomb in order to melt the divinium. So she wants to destroy the halo, which is probably a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And she's decided that she'll go back to being lesser without the halo, even though it'd be a hard life. She's going to make that sacrifice for humanity, which is really amazing. The funny thing is when she gets into the tomb, she finds Adriel alive.
It's creepy too.
It is so creepy.
She walks through that wall for a good minute or more, and it's pitch black, and she gets in there and there's another guy standing there.
And like every great villain, Adriel monologues his entire plan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They have to explain it to you then.
Which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the stuff online that you read says that the angel Adriel turns out to be a devil because Ava declares kind of, I would say like 15 minutes before the show ends, he's no angel, he's a devil.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of them are angels or devils. Remember, I'm a sci-fi fanatic. I can't help but think like this.
Uh-huh.
I just think that there is technology that allows you to move through dimensions. And it was probably created by the devil-looking people who are probably just people in that dimension. And that's their technology. And Adriel is from a separate third universe and has figured out some way to get there and steal the halo, which is technology that allows him to do different things. Or maybe Ava does really understand it and he is a devil, a real devil. And those big guys are just demons, like the wraith demons that float down and inhabit you. Maybe they're just another kind of demon, but the human looking folks in hell are the actual devils. It could be that too.
Yeah. Well, if he's not an angel or from that angel existence, I guess, what would be the halo then? It wouldn't be a halo?
It's just technology.
Just technology?
Yeah. I think it's probably someone interacted with humanity in the past, and that's where this religion spurred from. Like they created it based on interactions with these interdimensional people. Just a theory.
To keep watching to find out. Hopefully there's a season 2.
I hope it turns from religious to science fiction.
That you never know.
Awesome. We get a brief idea that I might be right.
Yeah, there's reasons Greg thinks this. It's not just willy-nilly.
Yeah, because when Adriel sees Lilith, who got murdered by one of these red demons and sucked into quote unquote hell.
Yeah.
She came back and he goes, "You've been to the other side. What are you?" Like, he should know what she is if he's a devil.
Yeah.
Right. And then Lilith answers, "It doesn't matter. And I know what you really are. Nothing but a thief," which tells me he's nothing special. That Lilith knows where he came from and what he's done. Someone, I mean, the devil guy speared her by accident, really. Trying to get back the halo. Brought her home and was probably like, oh, patched her up, fixed her. Because remember, we learn that Jillian, the tech lady, says that anything on the other side can't die.
Yeah.
So when she got pulled in, she didn't die.
Oh.
She got healed. And probably they explained a bunch of stuff to her and that now she understands and she's back. That's the theory anyway. I don't know if it's right. What do you think, Aaron? Do you think he's a devil or?
I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like he is, but maybe he is. I don't know. We've watched so many shows that it's always like the smarter beings kind of fake to be gods or godlike to trick the, lesser technology humans.
Yeah, the dumb humans.
Yeah. I mean, you see that a lot in Stargate. So that's not like a new story idea. So it kind of feels like that. He doesn't know, who Lilith is after she comes back. So that's why it kind of makes me think that. And I don't know. It just always seems like there's more to stuff than you have to kind of
You have to dig.
Dig, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's not the only thing that happened in this last episode, is it?
No. Of course, there's another twist.
Yeah.
We learned that Father Vincent is working with Adriel. Yeah.
I mean, that blew my mind.
Uh-huh. Probably everybody that watched it.
When he walked up to Adriel.
That always happens with like the big bads. There's always like the person that is working on the inside, and then towards the end, they'll get together and talk, and then you're like, oh, we're screwed.
Yeah.
Like that always happens.
So Adriel whispers in Father Vincent's ear. What do you think he said?
Adriel, I am your father. That's what he said.
I'm your great grandfather.
I don't know. Like when he whispered, I was like, what did he say? I think I yelled that to you.
We should go back and turn on subtitles. Maybe they're in the subtitles.
Why didn't we think of that before?
Just thought of that. Well. If anyone knows what he said, tell us.
If you can read lips.
If you can read lips, or if the subtitles work.
He said watermelon, watermelon, watermelon.
Yeah. In real life, he didn't say anything. He just said, do you want to go to Chick-fil-A when we get out of here later?
Yeah. Don't leave your coffee cup on the desk.
Yeah. How does it end?
Well, Shotgun Mary goes down under a mass of people. And it's kind of like a Glenn under the dumpster scenario all over.
Is she dead?
I don't think so. I think she's either going to have some kind of like power like stream through her. It's going to blow everybody off, or Ava's going to, use her Warrior Nun powers and like explode the whole room, and they're all going to go flying off of each other. I think that was like seconds from happening.
It was so anticlimactic because they're like, we didn't need to kill you. We just needed 7 minutes. And then Ava does nothing.
Yeah. Well, she has to it takes 7 minutes for her to charge.
I know, she's fully charged.
Yeah.
So they waited. They basically fought him for 7 minutes while she recharged. And then she did nothing. She unsheathed the lightsaber.
Yeah.
And then did nothing.
Yeah.
She didn't charge. She didn't do anything.
It's kind of like a Captain Marvel scenario as well, because you can't put her in at the beginning of the movie and let her defeat Thanos like right away, because she'll just
there's no movie then.
Yeah, there's no movie. So you can't just let the Warrior Nun, let her go. You have to let her charge, and you have to have the other, nuns fight. You have to give us, story and some fight scenes before they put the Warrior Nun in. Otherwise she would just, defeat him so fast that, there'd be no.
Yeah, she'd just give him the
ending.
little choppity chop, and that would be the end of it.
Yeah.
So overall, you loved it.
Yeah,
Me too.
I enjoyed it a lot. Way more than I thought I was going to.
I know. It was in between Cursed and this, Warrior Nun. They were both on Netflix. We had not seen either one of them. And we were like, okay, which one? And just on a whim, we were like, let's go for Warrior Nun. It seems so absurd.
Yeah. Well, they're both based on books. Like this one's based on the manga comic, and Curse is based on a book that's actually illustrated by Frank Miller for all the comic book fans out there. So
yeah. And we're watching that. I don't know if we're going to do a show on it or not. It depends on how much we like it when it ends. It's good now. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's not as good as Warrior Nun. But it's good.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's about witches, and it's like a King Arthur spin-off. Yeah. But it's got the female lead, which is neat.
Anything else you want to say about Warrior Nun?
You don't have to be Catholic or anything, I think, to watch Warrior Nun. It's just...
No, and it wasn't like religious in your face, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
It wasn't... I'm not super into like super religious shows. And I think most of these nuns aren't religious. Like Shotgun Mary is just like, meh, I have a shotgun. I kill stuff. That's my job.
Yeah. Well, she's there to protect, and she does.
Yeah. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some homework. so our FanDummy family can watch along and read along.
Yeah.
To be prepared for our next episodes.
Yeah.
We are going to be doing Umbrella Academy Season 2. So if you're not watching Umbrella Academy, get to it. We might actually do that as our next episode.
Yeah. We started it already. It came out just a couple days ago. So
chop, choppity chop on that.
Yeah.
We'll put a link for our Umbrella Academy Season 1. We did wait a while and just recently did an episode on Umbrella Academy Season 1. And it was so fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad we waited because it kind of got us prepped for Season 2, which was good. Next on the list is Transformers War of Cybertron Trilogy, which is also on Netflix. We're going to watch that.
You mean the trailer that they kept showing us last night?
Just over and over and over and over. So if you like Transformers, watch that. I don't know when that one's coming up because we also have Star Trek Lower Decks on August 6th.
But that one's just going to be one episode, so we'll probably cover just the one episode, right? And then do the rest of them at the end or something.
Yeah, I'm a Star Trek fanatic, so we'll talk about episode 1 for like 2.5 hours for sure.
You wanted to find all the canon.
Yeah.
What was it?
The canon callbacks.
Yeah, the canon callbacks. So
yeah, talk about all that. It'd be really fun.
Uh-huh.
Erin is reading the Wonder Woman 1984 book, which is a junior novel. So she's getting all the spoilers for the Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through, and I know how Steve Trevor comes back, but I'm not going to spoil it yet.
We'll put a link to that in the show notes also, so you can pick that up. I'm probably going to read it, and we'll do an episode called Prepare for Wonder Woman 1984.
Depending how it ends.
Either way.
It's really good, though.
We'll probably do an episode on that. So get ready. So just to recap, Umbrella Academy Season 2, Transformers War for Cybertron, Star Trek Lower Decks, and the Wonder Woman 1984 book.
The Wonder Woman 1984 book episode should be more of like a what to expect in the movie type. Like, we won't just focus on the book. So even if you don't want to read the book, maybe we'll talk about some of the comics the movie's going to be, reference from. And
or if you just want to know the good stuff that was in the book that we think will be in the movie, you don't have to read the book.
Who the main characters are going to be, just some basic stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to read the book to follow along.
Yeah.
But you should.
Well, that'll wrap it up. Thank you again for listening to this episode of FanDummies. Please subscribe, rate, write us a review if you haven't already. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up and leave us a comment. We love comments as long as they're nice. We like nice comments. As always, links to our Patreon, our Facebook group, and our merch will be in the show notes. If you're a patron, stay tuned for the Patreon segment. We will have an extended video if you're one of our new YouTube fans and you want to subscribe to Patreon. No problemo there. If you want to reach out to us, we are at FanDummies on all social media, or you can go to fandummies.com. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye. Do you see her in my video?
Mm-hmm.